Hi, I'm Mary Logsden, and here I am at your library. It's July at your library, and we are in the second month of our abbreviated summer reading program. If you haven't already gone online to register for the Ames Public Library Summer Reading Program, I encourage you to do so because it will continue through the month of July. And this year we do have programs, as always, for families with infants up to school-age children, young adults, teens, and adults as well. What's different this year is not only is the summer reading program just lasting through July 31st, but also this year the registration process is all happening online. So if you go to the library's website, amespubliclibrary.org, you'll see the link to the summer reading program sign-up information. And so please do take the time to do so. Sign up yourself, sign up your family, have some fun with it. And we encourage you to continue reading this summer, no matter what your age. And if you have any questions about that, do stop by the library or give us a call, or shoot us an email, and we'd be happy to help you to continue reading and checking out library materials all summer long. Today, I've got a special guest with me who's going to talk about some recommendations for summer road trip reading. So please stick around. Well, as I said, we've got a special treat today at your library. I've got one of our newest library staff members with us, Ellen Wanamaker. Hi, Ellen.
Hi there, Mary.
I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Typically at your library, I do like to bring other staff members along to talk about what's happening here at the library and to give a little bit of an insight into the people who are available to provide service. Where in the library do you work? Do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you currently do?
Yeah, I work at the information desk for adult services. So I help people with all kinds of things, reader's advisory. If they have a question about a book, maybe they've read something and want to read a similar genre or author. So I advise on that. I answer the phone and give advice or help to patrons who call. Help people with our new catalog, which is something that people are getting used to and mostly enjoying.
Yeah.
So that's in general my duties, but of course sometimes I do some things behind the scenes as well.
Well, one of the things that you do behind the scenes, and we're just really pleased to get you into this cycle, we do publish a weekly library notes column that appears in the Ames Tribune, and you've recently had your shot at it, and it was really a fun column because I know you talked about some recommendations for books to share as a family, and I was wondering if today you'd like to give us a little bit of a summary of some of those that you particularly enjoyed.
Sure. I have 4 I can share from about the 10 I mentioned in the column. The first is a book that would be really good for any age, except that I read it a lot to my kids when they were young. The Cricket in Times Square by George Selden. It's lovely. If it's a book you don't know, it's about 3 critters. It's about a cricket, it's about a mouse, and it's about a cat. And they are in New York City, of course, as the title suggests. It's a great book for road trips because it's a book that kids love, but adults also love to listen to. They're having an adventure, and the animals are having a good time and going places. So I recommend it for families traveling with young kids, as young as 3 or 4, but I would say even my 10 and 13-year-old would still enjoy it.
So the items that you're recommending are stories that really are good to listen to, and we recommend that you check out our audiobooks if they're available.
Sure.
If you're not but also you can read it aloud at home, but in particular for road trips, which is what a lot of people are engaging in this summer.
Exactly, and that's what I was talking about in my column, is books that are good for road trips because they'll appeal to everyone in the car.
Oh, great.
So assuming you're not plugging into your own device, you are listening aloud together. And The Cricket in Times Square is just fun for everybody. But again, more geared toward younger readers. So another one I highlighted is a book that's popular right now because it's being made into a movie. I believe in August it will be out in theaters, and that's Lois Lowry's The Giver. So The Giver is a fascinating story. I don't think I would have younger listeners. This would be maybe 10 and up, certainly, because of the content, because it's sometimes a bit disturbing, but very, very interesting story, and good for road trips because, at least for my family, we all read it recently, it prompts a lot of discussion about societies and what makes a good society and what makes a bad society. It's dystopian fiction. And it's a book that I used to teach in high school, so really good for high school kids, but middle school age would like it as well. So I know that my 10-year-old who read it was talking about it last night. He was saying, you know, I don't think I'd like to live in a world like that, and it brought up some good discussion points. So fascinating story.
So discussions not only while listening, but it's the sort of story that maybe would stay with the listener and prompt more discussion later. So that's
he brought
wonderful.
it up last night too. Again, very interesting story. And again, it's coming out in theater, so I think kids are inclined to read it, anticipating the movie coming out. So.
Great, good suggestion. What else have you got?
And of course, a classic, To Kill a Mockingbird. Everyone knows To Kill a Mockingbird, but if you haven't read it recently, or if you've never listened to it, Sissy Spacek reads the version that we have at home right now. My daughter's listening right now, and I've also listened on road trips with my family to this story. And again, it's really geared toward more middle high school, though it sort of depends on parents. But the story of Scout Finch and her father Atticus and the rest of the family, and how they deal with living in a racist society in the South in the 1930s. It's beautiful. It's beautifully written, and it also prompts discussion. So it's one of those stories that on a 12-hour road trip, I think kids would find they would find it fascinating to listen to and stop and say, wait a minute, what's going on? And why are they using that language? And what's happening? So my daughter's listening right now, and the trial is going on, and she's asking me, so why did Atticus do this? Why did Atticus choose to be a defender of this particular person? So
great.
Just a really neat choice to make the time fly, but also to listen to a really good reader in Sissy Spacek, who can do the Southern accent as it needs to be done.
Great.
So,
and this is a book, we have it, of course, on audiobook and in print, and it's a book that we actually own multiple copies of in our book club collection, because, as you said, many people have read it at some point in their lives. It's a book worth rereading, and I think in different stages of one's life, having the opportunity to discuss with others, whether it's a family or friends, is just really highly recommended by our staff, and so we do have multiple copies available as well in the book club collection. Well, Ellen, these are great suggestions.
And the movie as well.
And then the movie as well, of course, which is a classic. We could do a show just about movies that come from great literature as well.
Sure.
So, and then I see you have one more book.
I have one more, and this is just a new favorite of mine. I talk about it all the time because it's just, if you have not read The Evolution of Calpurnia Tate, it's lovely. And it actually, I put it with To Kill a Mockingbird because the main character, the protagonist, is Calpurnia, this young girl. She's 11 or so, and it's 1899 in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And she has an interest in plants and in the natural world. She's a bit of a tomboy, and her mother doesn't want any part of that. Her mother doesn't want her to go romping in the fields looking for plants and picking up animals. She confides in her grandfather, who's a botanist, and the two go off and discover new plants. And but she's a very neat character. She's a lot like a scout.
Oh, really? Okay.
And she's really coming into her own in, again, turn of the century, South Texas. So the book is just really, really interesting. It was a Battle of the Books selection about 2 years ago. So we put this on the 6th grade Battle of the Books. And I think adults sometimes shy away from books geared towards 6th graders, but it's not just geared towards 6th graders.
So this is one that would be found, this is actually a young adult collection.
Right.
So each of these, I just love the recommendations, and this is what I appreciate so much about your column, is that you are introducing adults
Yes.
to materials that are throughout the library with a recommendation that they will enjoy it as much as the young people
Exactly.
who are riding along with them, or
Right.
if they're reading aloud at home.
Yep.
And so this is great. So, and is this a new author? Who's the author?
I believe it's her first.
Okay.
It's a Jacqueline Kelly.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yep.
She's amazing. So it's just beautifully written.
Right.
And I recommended it. I listened as well as, and my daughter read it.
Okay.
I recommended it to my mother and my two sisters, all grown women,
Yeah.
who were road tripping together.
Oh.
They loved it.
Wonderful.
And had to drive another half an hour when they reached their destination to finish it because
Yeah.
it was so compelling. So
That's a sign of a really
Yes.
good read.
so it has been compelling in my family from age 12 to 79.
Okay. Well, that's a great recommendation.
Yes.
These are really wonderful recommendations. And as Ellen had said, a major part of what you do at the library is to work at the information desk and field questions from customers who come in looking for some answers to reference questions, as well as recommendations for books to read, movies to watch, books to listen to.
Yes.
So I encourage folks in the community to stop by and to speak with you some more, to get some other ideas. Certainly check these out, which are available in the audiobook collection. It might be the juvenile, the young adult, or the adult collection, but there are some great road trip
Yes.
listens. Speaking of road trips, I
Yes.
thought while I have you here, this might be a nice opportunity to talk about the road trip that we here at Ames Public Library will soon be making to our original home back on 515 Douglas. And you mentioned that you were involved with some behind the scenes activities at the library, and one major activity is this particular project.
It's a very exciting project, and we are going to have a book brigade.
Okay.
So that will it will occur on August 17th, which is the same day that is it's our last day of operation in this building here. So the book brigade will be symbolic. I think a lot of people think maybe a book brigade is passing the entire collection from here to there, and that's not possible.
Right.
Well, not possible in the time constraints.
Yes.
So we're passing a selection of books. It will probably be 14 to 20 books that represent our collection.
Wonderful.
So we'll have a book that is a young adult fiction, and we'll have an adult graphic novel, and we'll have all a large print adult and a young board books and things.
Okay.
So we'll be passing these books hand over hand from here to there, and it will probably take about an hour to do.
All right.
We're hoping to attract thousands of people.
Okay.
We really do think we could get thousands of people to show up and help with this.
So
fun
what
event.
is the route going to be? I imagine there's been quite a bit of logistical discussion about how
Yes.
to get between 620 Lincoln Way and 515 Douglas
Yes.
in an orderly fashion and
Sure.
safely and have some fun with it. So what's the plan there?
The plan is if people want to participate, they don't need to sign up. They can just show up.
Okay.
If you're a member of a large group, maybe the Lions Club or the Boy Scouts or Campfire, if you're a member of a group, we would ask you to call ahead to pre-register your group of maybe 20 or more.
All right.
Then we can place these large groups along the path.
Oh, super.
But we aim to gather people starting here at 620, and then we'll stretch people along the route. We do expect that some people will show up not at 620 but along the route, and it's okay to just fit into the line.
Wonderful.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
And we'll stretch up Grand Avenue. We're going to go under the railroad bridge.
Okay.
And then we will hook our way onto Main Street.
Great.
We're going to be turning onto 5th and hooking onto Main and traveling all down Main Street.
Yeah.
So part of Main Street will be closed,
All right.
which will be exciting
Yeah.
because we'll have some entertainment along the way. There might be some, the juggling club or some music or some
Okay.
performances that occur to entertain those in line.
Okay.
So it's okay to show up and line up anywhere along Main Street, along Grand. But if you show up here at 620, we can guide you toward a spot. And then we will, after these 14 books are ceremoniously passed down the line and deposited in the outside of 515, as
Okay.
we won't be able to enter the building at that time, we'll then guide people toward Bandshell Park.
Oh,
And we're going to have a celebration at Bandshell Park.
wonderful.
So all this will occur starting at about 4 p.m. on August 17th. It's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday, right?
And it will culminate at Bandshell Park somewhere in the 5 to 7 p.m. range with fun and music, and there'll be some food vendors.
Wonderful.
So again, take part. It's fine to just show up and you'll see the line. So
Yes.
just stand in line And the balloons, the books will have balloons on them.
Oh, wonderful.
Helium balloons. So
Okay.
you'll see the books as they approach. So that should be very fun.
It's been exciting to be a part of this whole process, and I know that, as you mentioned, some people in the community, a lot of people in the community do remember that back in the 1980s when we had our expansion project, there was a book brigade where there were lines of people who helped pass the books really on the property 515 Douglas from one end of the library to the new end. And then when we moved over here, there were lots of folks who helped us in incredible ways to move the collection. And so, as you say, that this is going to be a symbolic brigade, which links us from our temporary to our new home. And then after that's all wrapped up, on Monday, the 18th of August, we will suspend services and begin the actual move of the collection back to 515 Douglas. So it's a road trip of large dimensions right here in Ames. Ellen, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk about your recommendations, as well as some upcoming events here at Ames Public Library.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And please do stick around. We're going to feature some of our newest purchases here at the Ames Public Library. It was so much fun to talk with Ellen, to get to know a little bit of the recommendations that she has suggested for great summer road trip listening, and also to hear about the upcoming book brigade in August, when we will be beginning to move the library collection and staff and operations back to 515 Douglas. While we've had to reduce some of the activities in the summer as we prepare to move, one of the things we've not reduced is our Bookends at the Bandshell series. If you haven't already checked out Bookends at the Bandshell, please make your way over to lovely Durham Bandshell Park. Ames Public Library, Friends Foundation, and Ames Parks and Recreation have partnered for years to bring live music on Friday afternoons between 11:30 and 1:30 through the month of July. So if you've not made your way there yet, I encourage you to do so. This summer, in addition to listening to great live local music over the noon hour, we'll also have a representative from the Wildlife Care Clinic who will have some live animals there to share in the park, which is kind of an added treat this year. This July schedule is posted on our website, and you can, if you're on our Facebook page, following us on Facebook, you'll see some details about our Bookends at the Bandshell series. This series runs from the last full weekend in June till the last full weekend in July. So in July, as I said, there will be concerts every Friday from 11:30 till 1:30, and then we will wrap up the series with a concert on the last Sunday of July, which is July 27th, from 6 to 8 p.m. So check it out. Come down to beautiful Durham Bandshell Park, and just stay tuned for all that's happening at your library. Thanks so much for being with me. This is Mary Logsdon at your library.